CTM Sports. You see the title, Phillip Rivers over Cam Newton. Rich Paul, is he plotting and scheming on a podcast with Max Kellerman? CP3, is he almost top 5? Is he in the top 10? We're going to talk about it. Let's talk about the egos, right? Egos, leverage, and legacy. When confidence turns into cost, sometimes your confidence can cost you. I am a witness to that because I have what they call, my buddies call delusional confidence. And it has cost me. Sometimes it cost me, sometimes it helped me. You got to pick and choose sometimes. Which one you think is going to help you? But what I can say is, I do get it. I can see how he could be emotional about them picking Phillip Rivers and not calling him. But I can also see the other side of that spectrum from like a 40-degree angle. So we're going to talk about that. And guess what, guys? Nope, not that one. Uh-oh. Confidence shape careers, but decisions defines legacies. So Cam Newton, he feels overlooked. Is Rich Paul applying pressure to the Lakers by what he said in the interview with Rich Paul? And Chris Paul's greatness sits between impact and availability. Sometimes your best ability is your availability. So tonight, we remove emotion and follow the numbers. Let's do it. The first one is
Jam. Oh, jam.
Cam, confidence or delusion? Cam Newton believes the coach chose Phillip Rivers over him, and they did. But not for the reason that Cam thinks. He'll question their love for the game.
What magic beans they selling you?
He's selling the magic beans. And you know what the coach say? Won't do that. So is Cam Newton confidence or delusional? Let me know in the comments what you think. When you look at the numbers between him and Phillip Rivers, numbers don't lie, right? Cam Newton in 2018 through 2020, completion rate 59%, passing TDs per season under 15. He dealt with the shoulder and Liz Frank injury that's like with your shoulder. Sometimes pitchers get that sometimes. Lowest yards per attempt stretch of his career. So when we get to Phillip Rivers, in his final year in 2019, he had 4,600 yards, 23 TDs, top 10 in passing attempts, zero mobility, but full availability. Dude, he was a pretty tough guy. He was kind of tough as nails, especially in his prime years with the Chargers. He would get into it with the other quarterback. I remember him and Jay Cutler, man, had a legendary game. They was just going back and forth. Let me know, who would you pick? Would you get Cam or would you get Phillip Rivers? Who would you pick? Definitely debatable. Who you want more? Do you want pure quarterback or do you want a kind of modern style, quarterbacks? Cam Newton he's like a universal soldier. I mean, I'm 6'5". I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", probably 280. I'm 230. I can't imagine being 280. Whew. Man, that's crazy. That's a lot to carry around, guys. You may not tell because he tall, but if you see him in person, I'm pretty sure. Even me, 6'5", 230, I still look. When you walk up to people, they looking up like, man, this dude tall. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine. But teams wasn't choosing upside; they were choosing certainty, and that's what it's all about—the certainty. Sometimes he played with the Colts. They knew him. They knew what they're gonna get from him. They knew he wasn't going to come in there and shake things up on a PR side. They knew that. So, one insight is Cam's issue wasn't confidence. Let me say it again. Cam's issue wasn't confidence.
I want the truth. You can't handle the
It
truth.
was predictability, health, role acceptance, and system fit. Sometimes you got to fit the system. It's not just about the talent. Talent only gets you so far. There are other things, just like in the real world, a degree will only get you so far. There are other ingredients that make greatness. Talent is one of them, but you got to be able to fit within the system. Can you accept your role? Or are you going to be on Twitter sending out cryptic tweets bashing the team? In health, yes, you can work out and be a workout warrior, but it's different when you play an NFL game. You got people running into you like a car wreck. All those things have to be taken into accountability. And yes, you can make the same thing for Phillip Rivers. The same case. That's why it's debatable. But what I can tell you is they knew Phillip Rivers. It's a reason why they did it. Whether you agree with it or not, there is a reason why they call Phillip Rivers and not Cam Newton. It's just can you accept it? Can you stomach it? Can you make the adjustment? So if another team needs to make a call, they can call you. That's the question. I'll give you a situation before I move on. I used to work at this ISP place. They got bought out now by somebody else, but that was my first job working there because I was still going to school for like routers and switches and stuff, right? Got the job there, was making pretty good money. I think I was making like I was a contractor, so it wasn't full time. I was a contractor, so they paid you without benefits. So I was making like 60,000. I think I was like 26, something like that. 26, it was something like that in my 20s. I thought I was rich. My confidence was delusional. I used to tell people how much I made to try to keep them informed, but it ended up biting me in the butt. And my personality probably was part of the reason why when they did a layoff run, I was in that layoff run. But I lasted probably 3 years, I think. And they tried to offer me a full-time position, but it would have been like 20,000 less, like 40,000. And I told myself this, like, if I'm working here making 60, there's no way y'all gonna talk me into making 40. There's no way. Um, so I bet it on myself. Was it easy? No. When the layoff time came around, I was on the list. I probably was like on the wave. One of my buddies told me, I ain't gonna say his name, I'm gonna put him out there like that, but he told me they said in the meeting they didn't let me go because of the skill. They let me go because they didn't want to pay me that much money anymore. I did so many they call it test and turn ups. I did so many of those. My initials or my ID probably still on a lot of those when it was coming down the pipe. However, I'm saying I know this. I'm accountable. My confidence and personality was crazy at that time. It was crazy. One thing I say, what was crazy was it was ISP place, and I used to wear these NASCAR shirts because they was button down shirts, but it just had a lot of logos on it. I wore a shirt in there, and it had charter on it. I didn't know. I just wore the shirt because of the color and design. I never knew that there was a competitor of the place that I worked, and that was one of the things that kind of popped up. Well, I think when I interviewed with her, it's like they brought up the shirt. Like, did you know that Charter was a competitor? I like, I would have never known. I just bought it because of the design and color scheme, whatever. So But ego so crazy, you didn't do I didn't do the research, and it ended up costing me to be laid off. However, I understand that. I took that across the chin, and I kept moving. That's what I would say to Cam. Just keep moving, keep working out, man. I think because he's so confident, boisterous, a lot of teams, whether we agree with it or not, they just don't like it, right? They just don't like it. Even in the real world, like me being 6'5", when you're taller than most people and your confidence is crazy, yes, you'll stand out. You gotta be careful about that. And sometimes you gotta have delusional confidence, sometimes you don't. You gotta have discernment and be able to forecast when you turn it on and turn it off. Because it can get you in trouble, it can get you out of trouble. You just gotta understand how to use it. So with that being said,
Right.
let's move to the second one. Rich Paul, LeBron and the Lakers calculated pressure. He was on Max Kellerman's show, and he said that the Lakers are not championship contenders because they don't have the length, they can't defend athleticism, and can they run with other teams? So when Rich Paul speaks publicly, it's not commentary, it's leverage. In my opinion, it's leverage.
Right. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
So ask me this let me know in the comments. Are they planning to make like an Avengers type podcast with him, Maverick, Rich Paul, and LeBron? That would be a crazy podcast, man. But is he trying to get the Lakers to do something different, or are they putting pressure on the Lakers because they want to extend LeBron's contract? Let me know in the comments. Because sometimes people get emotional that you don't extend their contract. And then the Lakers feel like LeBron taking them for their money. He's saying trick or treat. Halloween's over, but he's still saying trick or treat. Because LeBron is up in age, 39 seasons, almost 40, still playing at a high level. I know they may have won some games without him, but an 82-game season, I think he still is the best player on their team, whether they want to accept it or not.
Am I right?
So LeBron, he's still 25 points per game, somewhere around there. Top 10 in usage rate. Top 15 in player efficiency rating. And one of the realities you got to think about is bottom half defensive efficiency. Don't have, to me, they don't have the perimeter defense. Austin Rivers and Luka are not going to be good perimeter defenders. They're not athletic enough. They're not lateral like that. They don't sit down in the chair and play defense. It's just not going to happen. Limited draft capital. They gave away so much draft capital for AD. And they still recovering from that now. Third one, aging core plus thin margin for error. When you have a limited amount of players that can really get it done, you have a small margin for error. I don't care how much you love the game. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. I don't care how much you love the game. What you don't have. And they don't have. I mean, Luka and LeBron, and maybe Austin Reeves, maybe. But outside of that, what else do they have? They still missing a couple pieces. And I heard it was a rumor out there they was trying to get Steven Adams from the Rockets. That'd probably be a good pickup, especially for Luka. But time will tell. We'll see. And we're going to move on to the next and the last one. Shout out to my boy, the Vault, Carl Vault. I seen this on his post. Matter of fact, I should pull it up. Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. See if. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me pull this up real quick. Because it was interesting. He said that, hold on, let me read it real quick. Shout out to the Vault, man. Try to get him on, come on here and holler at me, man. We need to have a discussion about that. I think it'll be a cool discussion, man, because he played at a high level himself. Let me share the screen real quick. Give me 1 second. So he says, oh no, what am I doing? I'm having a conversation with two of my basketball heads, and I'm telling them that Chris Paul is not a top 10 point guard from the 80s up. He haven't won nothing with his style of play, and he too ball dominant for me. So he give you some names, right? Magic, MVPs, chips. Curry, MVPs, chips. Tony Parker, Finals MVP and chips. That's a good one, Tony Parker. It's funny. Rondo won a chip as a rookie, plus one more with the Lakers. Iverson, MVP. Westbrook, MVP. Rose, MVP. Kidd, chip. Nash, MVP. Gary Payton, chip. Defensive Player of the Year. Isaiah, Finals MVP and championship. CP, nothing. Shout out to the Vault, man. Shout out to the Vault, man. The Vault, man, come holler at me, man. Let's talk about it, man. We're going to have a discussion on this for real. So, I just showed you a list of names right there. I don't know if you could put them ahead of Isaiah Thomas. I wouldn't do that. I think a lot of people, I even respond to that, a lot of people are emotional about Chris Paul because he was fiery. He was like the man's point guard. However, when you look at the 10 people that was ahead of him, he didn't. I don't think he won MVP. I don't think he did. Some people even consider Chris Paul a dirty player, if you depending on who you ask. Most players ain't gonna say that, but when you look at some of the videos, I mean, he used to do some hacking stuff, man. Hit people in their crown jewels, man. I should play the video, but I'm not. It's funny. They said, "Do you believe Chris Paul is a dirty player?" Then they played all his dirty plays. It's pretty funny. He was a fiery dude, though, but this is where fans get emotional, so let's stay realistic as we can.
You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Don't get emotional on me. And I ain't gonna dance around it. So he has the best career assist to turnover ratio, and he's really good at directing the offense and holding on to the ball. He's really good at that. They said teams improve winning percentage immediately after acquiring CP3. New Orleans was a playoff team. Clippers, franchise best era. I think they went to the conference finals, lost to the Spurs. The Rockets, 65 wins. Thunder, they exceeded expectations when they had him at SGA. And then with the Suns, they was in the finals against Giannis, the Greek freak. So here's the reality, right? He missed or was limited in multiple playoff runs.
Am I right?
Let me know in the comments. He missed or was limited in multiple playoff runs. Let's run it down the list. 2015 Clippers. 2018 Rockets hamstring. You remember that? Playing against the Warriors, they was really close to beating him. He pulled his hamstring. Um, when he played for the Suns, he was injured. We started getting older in age, right? So the question that I have, he has 0 championships, right? So don't get all emotional. I'm just telling you facts. Because you have to think greatness includes availability, especially when margins are the smallest. When they played against the Warriors, it was him and James Harden. First of all, you had James Harden. He always shrink in the playoffs. Why, I don't know. But they was really on the brink of running the Pacers off the table, but he got injured. I think he was going on a fast break. He was taking the ball to Quincy. He pulled his hamstring. It just wasn't the same after that. He always has some weird injuries like deep in the playoffs. And if you elevate every team but can't finish the job, how do we rank that? You got close, but you didn't close enough. You made a finals appearance, but you didn't win it. And you wasn't 100% when you made the finals then. How do we grade that? Let me know in the comments. Or you gonna dance around it? The question I have is, did he really do his best to keep his body in optimal shape? That's the nugget to think about.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Did he do everything that he could to stay in shape?
Jam, oh jam.
Because think about it. LeBron was his homeboy. Why? You know what? A lot of people hung around LeBron, but they really didn't work out or try to understand how he preserved himself this long, right? Can you imagine if Carmelo or CP3 or Wade would have invested? And I'm not saying they still like LeBron. LeBron is a cyborg. I mean, if you cut him up, you probably see like a Terminator skeleton under his skin, man. He's different. But I'm thinking if they would have just tried to reach for the Infinity Stone that LeBron got, which is staying in shape, they would have at least been in optimal condition for the playoffs. Unfortunately, I hate it for him, but Chris Paul is not top 5 or top 10, unfortunately. Now, I know people gonna get emotional about that, but that's on you, not me. Just keeping it real. You gonna say Chris Paul better than Derrick Rose? You gonna say Chris Paul better than Isaiah Thomas? You gonna say Chris Paul better than Jason Kidd? I know you're not gonna say he's better than Magic Johnson. You know, you just talking sacrilege. So with that being said, let me know in the comments what you think about that. And here's the truth without emotion, right? Cam Newton's belief clashed with organizational risk. You have to think about what the things that I say, the things that I do when I'm on social media, and he has a lot of influence, a big brand. What do teams think when they see that? Whether I agree with it or not, what do they think? Because that's their team, their money. They pick who they sign.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the
So
truth.
I can get all emotional about it if I want to, but it is what it is. LeBron uses uncertainty as leverage and not chaos. He is good at sending subliminal messages. 100% he's good at sending subliminal messages. I actually like it. I actually like he plays subliminal messages with the team because he understands that he is a business along with the team, but he also is a business. He also is a brand. And he knows how to speak without speaking. A chess game. It's chess. It's not checkers. Chris Paul mastered control, but couldn't control time or health. Unfortunately, couldn't control time or health. People always wonder what would have happened if he went to the Lakers. Maybe if he could have talked Dwight Howard in the stand, it would have been him, Kobe, and Dwight Howard. Maybe would have worked out, but he couldn't control it. They vetoed it. Chris Paul, I know they're gonna be emotional about it, but he's not in the top 10, and he collected a lot of checks. He trick or treated a lot of checks from a lot of teams, and he earned some of it too because he got a lot of teams over the hump, and he actually mentored SGA. So shout out to Chris Paul for that, man. But he's still not in the top 10. So I'm gonna close on this. Sports isn't about who believes the most. It's about who aligns belief, timing, and reliability. You have to align with something. And you have to ask yourself, what am I aligned with when I make this content? If I got all the influence, a lot of views and followers, what is my belief system and content aligned with? Is it aligned with being shock jock? Is it aligned with being saying the most flagrant stuff to get views? You have to ask yourself these things. Timing. Sometimes the timing is off. Why would they sign you and you just got signed to ESPN to work with Stephen A? Why would they sign you? Just being honest. Let's be honest about it, man.
Right.
So with that being said, that's CTM Sports, where decisions decide outcomes, and we will catch you on the next CTM Sports.
Jam. Oh, jam.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what would you like to hear us talk about. CTM Sports. And